I have 25 minutes to talk about security, and it could take years. So I'm going to go real quick, and I'm going to give you just a few things to come out of here with. Difficult topic to talk to. All of a sudden, some people have just shut me off. They don't want to address it. They don't want to think about it because they're out of their comfort zone of actually using force to take another human's life. Very difficult subject to address, but guess what? You are entitled to protect your life and even take someone's life to protect yours. No one has the right to take your life from you. No one in this world. So pay attention, and if the subject's a little bit hard for you to digest, that's fine. Hopefully you'll learn something and you can apply it when the situation really matters. The question on security is the most questions I get is, hey, how can I protect myself during a crisis? I get this on YouTube every day. I'll go home and I'll have a few questions pertaining to security on my PMs. A lot of people want to know. It's very easy to get water out of the ground. I mean, there's just variables you do, and guess what? You get water out of the ground. You buy food, you store it right, you have that taken care of. Security is another matter because we are playing with variables that we can't control. The variables are there bad guys out there? Are there people wanting to hurt us? How many people want to hurt us? How many people want to take our supplies? So it's a lot of variables. There's no cut answers to this. But how am I going to protect myself when there is no law and order? There's a lot of threats out there. Now you might say, well, yeah, these threats are out there, but they're not really going to affect my security. They will, because if these things happen, they will cause a breakdown of social order, and they'll cause chaos. So any of these, you'll have to deal with these problems, but then you're going to have to deal with the problems that come. And there's many, we've talked about them today. Any of these things can cause a security problem. So you're going to have to handle these, then you're going to have to handle your security problem. The worst security problem would be called what we call WROL, without rule of law. This could be a short-term thing, it could be a long-term, no one knows. But in your mind, you're going to have to realize that there is no 911. There is no one coming to help me. There's no U.S. Cavalry going to ride in and save the day. National Guard is too busy doing whatever they're doing. So guess what? It is your responsibility to take care of yourself. It is your responsibility to take care of your loved ones. And it's also your responsibility to do what you can to protect your community. If you can do something to protect the people that can't protect themselves, you need to do it. Your security mission should be, I don't want to go out and have to shoot people. That's the last thing you do. If you have to shoot someone to protect yourself, usually you've probably done a few things wrong. Maybe you could do something different so you wouldn't be in that situation. What you want to do to that threat is show them that, hey, we mean business in our community, our neighborhood. We're not going to tolerate that. Please go away. Go find someone else that is not prepared and mess with them. And that's sad to say, but that's what you want to do. You want that threat to go somewhere else. Should I be in the city or the country? It doesn't matter where you are, you're going to have to do the same precautions. You're going to have to do something to protect yourself. Yes, the city has a little bit more problems because you have a lot more people to deal with. The country, hopefully you'll have less people to deal with, and hopefully you have a different mindset. But guess what? Country people will still riot. When they're hungry, they're going to still do what the city people do. It doesn't matter because they're people. People, when hungry, when they're cold, they will not go home and just lay on their bed and die. They're going to solve their problems. The answer is, if you're in the city or in the country, you need to be part of a community. People say, my neighbors aren't going to do anything, they're not preppers. Guess what? If you study what happened overseas in the riots, if you looked at what happened in Egypt, guess what? Communities, just normal communities like our communities, guess what people did? They organized, they got out there with sticks and clubs and rocks and whatever they could have as a weapon, machetes, and they protected their neighborhood. That will happen in the United States. People are not going to let another group of people come in their neighborhood and burn it to the ground. We don't do it, we won't do it. So yeah, you might not have the answer right now, but when your neighbor's house is threatened by someone outside, you guys will group together because you're going to say, hey, we need to protect our houses. What are we going to do? Real quick on this, what do you have to protect? Some of you, definitely families top of the list. You can replace anything in this world. It's very hard or impossible to replace family. So people is priority number one. You can rebuild a house, you can rebuild a business. It's hard, but you can do it. You have to decide if you're going to protect your house, your business, your farm. Some of you might have a business. Maybe you decide instead of protecting the home, we're going to protect our business. It's more valuable to us. It's our financial lifeblood. So decide what you're going to protect. What are the threats out there? You have all kinds of threats that could happen in any type of emergency if there's no law and order. You have the common looter. These people can either be looking for supplies, life-sustaining supplies, food and water, or you're going to have a group of people out there just looting the big screen TVs, the video games, whatever they can find that they don't have to steal. Then you're going to also have your skilled attackers. You're going to have guys from the military, guys that have police training, guys that have security training. So you have looters and you have skilled attackers, and guess what? You're gonna take both of them on the same way. You're gonna show both of them the respect that they should be given. Don't think, oh, those guys are just a bunch of looters. Guess what? 2 or 3 of those guys could be ex-special force guys, and they're just dressed in civilian clothes. So don't overlook that. Don't think, oh, those are just looters. Treat them. Don't underestimate the enemy out there. People will pull together. You can see these guys here. They're protecting their neighborhood. You get on the internet, you can see pictures like this all day long of after a hurricane or after a flood or something. Neighbors are going to group together so people don't take advantage of them. This one's sort of funny. It says, drunk with guns, you loot, we shoot. So that's also a problem. Be very careful because people are going to be very trigger happy. You know, you might just be trying to get home, driving through their neighborhood, and guess what? They think you're a looter. So be very careful when you go through a situation like that because these guys are nervous. You're nervous trying to get home. They're nervous making sure you don't hurt their home. Training. The importance of training is a big thing that people don't address. They go to the gun range and they stand at a stationary target or stationary lane and they shoot a target. Then they put their gun down, they pull their target back, and they look at that. Is not training. I've never been in a gunfight, and that's what the guy did to me. I mean, he never stood there, and I stood there, and I got a good stance, and I fired rounds. It never happened that way, and it won't happen that way. A gunfight is like dodgeball. If me and this gentleman were going to play dodgeball right now with balls, he would be moving, running, dodging behind the chair so I can't hit him. And that's what I'm going to be doing, and that is a gunfight. It is not a stationary range. It is never a stationary range. So, if you guys can't get out and get some good quality training, change your routine. If you can go to a range or go out to the woods, when you draw your weapon, learn to move immediately. My weapon comes out of the holster, my body is physically moving. Because if not, if you train like you do at the range, when you get in that situation, you're just going to shoot at the guy that direction. So get some quality training, please. It will help. Firearms. I'm not going to go over firearms right now. Such did a great job. The only thing I'm going to say about this is ammunition. Ammunition is the weak point of any firearms. I've been in warehouses, government warehouses, bigger than this building, stacked as high as they can put pallets. And it was all 5.56. When I went to get ammo for a range, the only time I got 7.62 by 39 was to have a familiarization range with the AK. And guess what we had in the warehouse for us to get? 3,000 rounds of AK ammo compared to 100 million 5.56. That is why I've gone with the 5.56. The ammo's out there. When we invaded Iraq, I was with the 101st Airborne. Literally alongside of the road, literally, there was dump truck full, just cases of ammo that they dumped. They dumped the ammo, I guess drove the trucks out of here to get away from us. But there was dump truck loads of 7.62 by 39. It will be the same way in this country. Ammo just won't disappear. Someone will loot that armory. Someone will loot the warehouse. And what are they going to do if I had 20 million rounds of ammo? I'm going to take that ammo, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to trade it for what? Food, water, what things I don't want. Because I don't need 20 million rounds of ammo. The ammo will find its way out into society through the black market. Body armor. Body armor is a combat multiplier. I highly recommend it. It is coming down in price drastically. Very affordable. So if you can afford it, I would recommend some plates. I've seen plates work firsthand. There's a lot of GIs out there alive today because of plates. Probably $700–800. You can get a good vest and some plates if you look around on sale. That's a good investment. It's your life. So if you're the guy with the 10 ARs in your gun safe, go sell one of them and buy some plates and some armor. Night vision. Combat multiplier. If you can see the guys in the dark, you're going to do a lot better. The problem is if they can see you in the dark and they have night vision and we don't, it's a serious situation. There's things you can do to counter that, but get some night vision. You have generation 1, 2, and 3. Generation 3 being the current, the best of the best, but it's costly. But it's well worth it. Make sure you have food and water and everything else first, though, please. Load-bearing gear. This is how am I going to carry my ammo, my magazines, my pistol. A lot of guys go overboard on this, and then I find guys that don't have anything. You're not going to throw all your ammo in a buy low grocery bag, okay? So you need something. I don't care what it is, you need something to be able to carry your ammo. Don't go overboard, but get what you need. Communications. If you're trying to defend a piece of property or your neighborhood, you need to be able to communicate with others. If you can get people quickly through any type of radio system, it could be family radios that you buy here, you can buy them at Walmart, you can buy them anywhere. You need commo if you're going to try to protect a fixed location or your neighborhood. Perimeter security detectors, MERS radios. I can't say enough about MERS. You can order them off the internet. They're an excellent product. The combat multiplier, they work by motion. They will give you the ability to watch a large piece of property with limited amount of manpower. They do have a lot of pluses. They do have a few negatives. But basically, if I had to buy anything, I would look at MERS sensors and MERS radios. All right, how to defend my home. Most homes that we have today are not defendable. Do not get the feeling that I'm just going to shut all my doors, lock my windows, and I'm good to go. In a situation, if you guys go home tonight and there's a burglar, yes, stay in your house, let the police handle the problem outside. Don't go out there to confront the bad guy. Call 911, safest thing for you. Now in a ROL situation where there's no 911, you have to be outside your house to protect it. It's like this, if I'm in my house and you're the bad guy out there, I have certain windows, right, that I can look out to see the bad guy. But when I look out to see the bad guy, he might have on the front of my house 4 locations that I'm going to look out. He knows that. So what did I just do? I just gave him a perfect target. I just silhouetted myself in that window. So all he has to do, if he knows I'm looking at him, is shoot at 4 windows. What do I have to do? I don't know where he is because he's somewhere out there. So you cut your visibility down because you're only looking out this much of the window. You can't see everything else. But if I was outside the house, I'm outside the house is back towards my back. Guess what I can see when I'm looking out here? I can turn my head just a few degrees and I have all of this covered. I will be able to maneuver. If a bad guy's over there, I can maneuver outside my house. Because if he moves that way and I'm in my house, what do I have to do? I have to run out of this room, go into the next room, find a window, and then try to look out. But guess what? If he knows I'm looking out the window, I just went to the next window, right? He's going to be ready. He'll simply shoot through that window. I won't be able to look out. If I can't look out the window, I definitely can't look out the wall. Be outside your house. A lot of people have that wrong. Do not defend your house from inside your house. Okoka. This is what I want you to get. This is basic. If I go overseas to set up a defense, this is the first thing I'm looking at. Observation in fields of fire. I'm trying to protect a fixed location, my house, my retreat, my neighborhood, wherever it be. Observation in fields of fire. I look at my fixed location and say, can I have 360-degree observation around what I want to protect? If I can, that's a big plus. If I can't, I have a problem. Because the bad guy can see that and says, oh, I can just sneak in his back. He can't see me come in, and I'll be inside his perimeter. 360 degrees protection and the ability to stop anybody. Yeah, I might be able to see the guy, but if I can't actually fire on him to deter him from coming after me, you haven't accomplished anything. That's observation in fields of fire. Next is cover and concealment. If I'm going to try to defend a piece of property or anything, I need to be able to provide me and people that are trying to help me cover and concealment. Cover being protection from bullets. I need to put something between me and a bad guy so he can't shoot me. Sort of common sense. Next is concealment. If I can be outside and he can't see me, he can't shoot at me, hopefully. He won't know where to shoot. So you got concealment in the case of shrubs, bushes. So pair both of those together, cover and concealment. Obstacles. if I'm protecting my neighborhood, I'm looking at what can I do to slow down a bad guy, either an organized bad guy or just a looter. What can I do to make him change his direction towards me, or make him move in a direction where I have better security? And this is what you can do with obstacles. There's a lot of obstacles you can use. Fencing. I recommend right now, if you live in a suburban area, put a fence up in the backyard. Put a nice fence up, whatever the neighbors have. A fence will give you a few things. A fence tells people that, hey, somebody owns that piece of property, so I shouldn't jump over their fence. It gives people a warning. Someone's claiming this is their property. Secondly, what it does is it makes your mindset change. In a bad situation and you see the guy climb over your back fence, immediately your security posture should go up. Hey, someone just climbed over my fence. That's probably an indicator that he's probably not doing the right thing. He might be, but probably not. So put fencing up now. You can do it, make it look attractive, and you've solved the security problem for you later on. Plants. Bamboo grows very quick. It's very hard to get through bamboo. If you try to, you make a lot of noise. Blackberries are the same. Blackberries will also give you food in a bad situation. You got a little security and you got food. You're going to look at distance. Anytime I can position myself with a great amount of distance between a threat, it gives me a few options. First of all, I might see somebody out there, and now I have time to determine if they're a threat or they're just a neighbor walking home, if they're an innocent person out there just trying to find food. So distance is your friend because it gives me time to react and say, okay, what's that guy doing? Oh, that's just Joe the neighbor coming home through the woods. Now, if Joe the neighbor came through and I only had 1 split second to make the decision before he's right on top of me, guess what? I don't have that time to make that critical thinking. So I might react and react wrongly. So distance is your friend. If you can get distance around what you want to secure, it also gives you the ability, if there is a threat out there, someone's coming to loot your neighborhood, guess what? If I have distance, I can holler back and get 5 or 6 neighbors to come help solve the problem. It gives them time to get to me. Anti-vehicle barriers. Yeah, this is a fancy one. You probably won't be making one like this. But what you're trying to think of, if I can slow people down from getting into my neighborhood, it's a very good advantage. This is one that was taken recently. This is a man-made obstacle. If you live in the city, whatever junk there is available, you make an obstacle. I don't think someone's going to drive through this. This is very intimidating. If you saw this here, we would probably, if we were looters, go to the next neighborhood that's not doing anything. We wouldn't mess with these people because they're doing something proactive. Man-made obstacles. You're saying, I'm in the city, I have nothing. Everybody in the suburbs have a garbage can probably similar to this. You can take this, fill it full of dirt, take 20 of them, put them in the road, and you have a great obstacle. Take a string or rope and tie these together. If you were a bunch of looters and you looked down the neighborhood and you saw 25 of these cans outside in the middle of the road and 4 or 5 guys behind them, the looters would probably go somewhere else. They don't. Obstacles, garbage cans, anything to slow them down. It's also, it might not be a military-grade obstacle. The guys in the military might say, well, you got a bunch of trash cans on the road. It's not going to stop us. But to the average person, it's say, hey, those guys are actively trying to secure their location. I'm going elsewhere. Key terrain. In your neighborhood, in your subdivision, or at your retreat, you're looking for a key piece of vantage point, a key area that will give you an advantage in securing your area. If it's a small hill, guess what? I can use that to look out. If it's in the city and it's a 4-story building, guess what? I can look from the 4th story and I can see a long distance. If I can control that, I can help control my perimeter. So you're looking at key terrains. Next is avenues of approach. Common sense. If I have a road into my subdivision, I want to close it off. I don't want people just driving quickly into my community. So I'm going to watch the roads. I'm going to watch pathways, waterways, open areas. It's just avenues of approach. Anywhere where someone can go quickly into what I'm trying to guard, I want to keep them out. The farther you see the threat from you, the more time you have to react. And that's very important, trying to make a critical decision, life or death. Do I need to react or am I going to overreact? OCOCA. Observation of fields of fire, cover and concealment, obstacles, key terrain, and avenues of approach. If you just get that out and you're trying to secure your property, it will definitely help get you going. You need to have a security plan. It's time to do that now. It's time to think through it. What can I do to secure my house? What can I do to secure my neighborhood, my community, my retreat? You need to take it seriously, because during a difficult time, you're going to be thinking of everything else than this. And if you have to make that key decision, how am I going to secure my property? You might make the wrong decisions. This is a very, very touchy subject. If you travel overseas to a third world country, they do it all the time. What I'm talking about, they do, because there's not that level of protection. There's not a 911 system. It happened a lot when we invaded Iraq. A lot of problems were happening. There were family feuds being settled on a nightly basis. And it confused us, because we thought, what are they shooting at each other for? Are they insurgents? Are they the bad guys? Are they Iraqis? No. We found out later through our interpreters, they were just settling scores. Or widespread, you drive down the road, no law and order, guess what? Somebody wanted your car, they would stop you, they'd stop another Iraqi and they'd steal their car. We don't face that every day in our country. Hopefully we never have to face that. But if we do, we need to be prepared. To be prepared to take care of ourselves, but also try to reestablish law and order. You don't have to have a military uniform on. You don't have to have a badge on. Everyone knows what's right and wrong. Everyone knows how they want to be treated, so treat other people that way. Have a plan, and your security is your responsibility. Thank you.